My name is Nigel Smith. Good afternoon. I work for Objective. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company in the next 10 minutes, what we do, and in particular what we do with Jadu. So Objective as a company is focused on information and process governance. We work predominantly in the public sector, what we call regulated industries. We're headquartered in Australia. We've been in the UK for about 20 years. We've got a range of customers in the UK that I'll talk to you about in a moment. And worldwide, we just have this stat that there's about 500,000 people using our software on a daily basis. So we have a mission statement. We're all about bringing governance and efficiency to the organisations our community depends on. So I'll come back to that word governance. And what I really mean by that is that because we're focused on the public sector and regulated industries, there is regulation out there. There's the GDPR that everyone in this room probably heard of last year. But beyond that, there's all that statutory regulation that says things such as if you're dealing with a child's record, you've got to keep that information for 75 years. So our focus is on managing all that content that is out there in your organisations and putting governance around it. But in addition to putting governance around it, what we're looking to do is make that information easy for the users in your organisation to work with, the citizens that you engage with to access. And the efficiency part of this really is once you've got that governance structure in place, you look to put process out there on top of it to really drive the efficiencies of the organisation, to make it easier to work with information, to get better outcomes, better results for our citizens. So we have a portfolio of products. I'll talk you through what is there. Just to say up front, that the focus with Jadu really is on objective, inform and perform. That's what our integration is. That's what I will show you later on. But I'll just talk to the whole set here because it's used throughout local government and government in general. So I think all of this is relevant. Objective Inform is our information governance solution. So as I mentioned, you've got content in your organisations, you've got paper, you've got email with attachments, you've got video, you've got audio, all this various types of content that sit there. That needs to be managed across its life cycle. You need to have a clear audit across who's done what with it. You need to manage the versions. You need to have great integration with products such as Microsoft Office 365. That's what our Objective Inform product does. And then allied to that, we have Objective Perform, which means that once you've got that content captured, you want to start driving processes off it. And those processes may be simple. They may be helping ensure you get things stored in the right place. It may be around things like approvals, reviews that you need to go through. So if you've got policies that need to be renewed on a yearly basis, there's going to be a process that needs to go through. When you get to the end of that process, you want that policy to be published. And then we provide a single source of truth. So just with one reference, your website can go into the policy and bring back the latest policies. Whenever you're using our system, you're always working with references to information. So we get away from the issues where you're sending attachments through email. You don't quite know what version of a document you're working with. So I focus here on Objective Inform and Perform as the information and process governance piece. This is kind of focusing on inside the organisation, but everyone out here probably has needs on working with external partners, external organisations. And what Objective Connect does is it allows you to take the information that you've got stored in Objective Inform or Perform. It doesn't need to be, it can work standalone by the way, and share that information into a secure workspace and then let the external partner organisations you want to access that information get to it quickly and easily. Just to complete this little tour, Objective Redactors, as it says on the box, it is a redaction tool. So if you're talking about processes such as Claire was earlier on with FOI, subject access requests, then we've got tools there that will help you redact that content. And you can apply templates to go and look for account codes, sort codes, names, and apply that to the whole of the document. And then burn that redaction in and save that copy. Objective to Please is a solution that's used in planning. So where you need to measure and annotate planning documents, that's what it really does for you. So an example of how you might use that is if a building site plan comes in, one of the processes you need to go through is ensuring that the fire department can get their fire appliance into that site. And what you can do with our software is kind of overlay a picture of a fire appliance, make sure it fits into the building site. And then finally, just to move on to Objective Keystone, this is our collaboration and consultation product. So this is widely used in local government, so typically around things like local development plans. And what that allows you to do is collaborate as a team on quite large documents. So we're talking about things that are like maybe 100, 150 pages large, complex, so you need a number of different people to work on them. They tend to stretch the limits of Microsoft Word, but what you can do with our solution is have a team working on that. You can allocate out work to different chapters, different paragraphs, and when you pull that document together, you can press the button, it will give you the print format of that document, or alternatively, take that document and it will lift it up onto the internet, and you can go into a consultation process with your stakeholders. You can take the consultee feedback, rework that, create a new version of the document, press the button, and then you've got your local development plan in this example. So there's a wide range of products we have here. And when they, so I'll give some case studies. So to come back to Objective Connect, as I mentioned, it can be used standalone, or it can be used integrated with Objective ECM. Glasgow City Council are our largest user of Objective Connect. As we go forward into next year, I think people are probably aware the GCSX, if you're in local government, is going to disappear. So Objective Connect is something that's kind of an alternative means of securely sharing outside the organisation. So Glasgow City Council last year, Glasgow hosted the European Championships. One of the things they did was use Connect to share all the documents that they needed to share with their co-host Berlin. So they had that two-way sort of conversation going. So you can share information across to Berlin. Berlin can update documents, they get synchronized back. So Connect is a really great way of solving some of the sort of external collaboration challenges. If I move on to Objective Inform, Objective ECM, talk about Thurrock Council. Thurrock were in a situation 5-6 years ago where they were reliant on shared drives, email, paper. With our solution, they put a single repository in place, they put all the content off of the shared drives across into Objective. They reduced the amount of paper they were holding by scanning that information. And that really led to huge sort of savings in terms of office space that could be reclaimed. What our solution also does is it allows users to get at that information where they are. It also looks to break down the silos that have been there in the shared drive. So if you've ever worked in a shared drive scenario, it's often a lot of walls between departments. With our solution, we're trying to break those walls down. So once you're working with Objective, you can get the information you need to. You can search across the whole repository and really work a lot more effectively with your teams and your colleagues. So West Lothian are another council who've gone down that path. They've used our information governance solution, but they've started building out into processes. So they're starting to get efficiencies from some of the processes they have. So an example here was they had a human resources onboarding process that was really quite convoluted. A lot of touch points, a lot of things getting lost, no visibility on what was happening overall. So by taking the content that's in Objective Inform and starting to build processes out around that, we can ensure that the process moves on to the right person in sequence, one after another. It just speeds up the whole sort of business of onboarding someone. You know at any stage exactly where you are in the process, what needs to be done next. You can go parallel as you need to, and you've got alerts and alarms and reporting, the dashboards that you expect with that. And finally, just to bring it all together, we take the example of Middlesbrough. They are a customer of both Inform, Perform and Connect. They recently got awarded the Innovation Award from Objective. One of the projects they've had has been about safeguarding missing children. So when a child goes missing, there's a lot of information they hold as a council. They need to share externally. So they're using Connect to share that information out to the relevant police, health authorities, to ensure that they can as quickly as possible respond to that serious situation and try and ensure that child is safeguarded. So those are some examples of how our customers use our suite of products, and it's all about really delivering better community outcomes. So you can see that we're breaking down those internal silos. It's all about process efficiency. It's about being able to find information really easily and just make the whole process of governance a much more efficient one. So that kind of brings the products together. We just look at the bottom right hand there. Obviously, where does Jadu fit into this? Well, one of the things we do is a lot of process work, as I mentioned, and typically that has been focused on paper getting scanned. It's been focused on emails coming in with attachments. All that goes through a process. What our customers increasingly want to do, obviously, is have that sort of website capability, that front end, the forms capability. So we've now got integration with Jadu, and as part of that integration, we can take a form that comes into the website, capture it into the objective, and then push it through the same process that paper, that email attachments go through as well. So just to demonstrate that, if we take a scenario like correspondence management, traditionally there's paper coming in, it gets scanned. We also have that same process needing to be able to deal with emails and the attachments on emails. And now what we can do with the integration we've got with Jadu is we have an additional channel where it comes in via the web, but it goes through the same process. And as we push the correspondence through that process, we pick up its category. Depending on its category, we fire off the appropriate rules to make sure it gets stored in the right place, with the right attention, make sure that it gets across to the next person in step to dealing with that type of category. And just to show just a mocked-up example of some integration here, so here's the contact form being created in Jadu. Once that's complete in Jadu, we get a copy of that as a PDF. The data that's been captured comes across as well, and then that drives the process in objective. So this is a task in objective, it's the assignment task, and it's one task, the person has got to move this on to an individual to actually action and see exactly what this is about. On the right hand side, they can see an overview of the data that's been captured, they can see the instructions, and they just basically have to specify who's this going to go to next. Or it could be business rules that automate this part of the process. If they need to have a look at the content that's coming through Jadu, then they can see that. And basically, the end of the step is they assign this and we move on through the process. So I felt as I was talking very fast there, but I have come to the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much.